Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King 2. And today I'm going to be giving you part 26 of What If Naruto Was Neglected and Lost Everything. Remember to get this one to 100 like as usual. Share this to all of your friends in your social media platform. And also guys, go ahead and check out the brand new episode of What If Naruto's Hope of the Uchiha clan and enjoy that guys over on Anime King. And also, stay tuned for a brand new episode coming over Anime King 3, which I do hope that you guys will enjoy. And yes, if you heard that, you heard it correctly. I indeed have 3 channels, Anime King 2, Anime King 3, which I post what if on every single day for you guys to enjoy. So go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and your support, and yeah, without further ado, what is to begin this new episode? Start the intro. So the last time we left off, Tsunade dropped a big news, saying that Yumi was not Naruto's daughter, or neither was she his uncle's daughter, as Naruto's real child, his son, Tobirama, was given to Danzo to activate the eyes of the dead Uchiha that did not activate their eyes. The boy had a special ability to do so. Tsunade said that she was being controlled at first by Danzo as well. He was the one that made her come towards the town. Yes, he was the one that made her adopted Naruto in the first place. Danzo was behind all of that. Tsunade said that she was keeping them safe by locking them up here. But Karen told her that her father would be angry. Tsunade knew that he would, and if he would forgive her that easily. She didn't think so. But Karen said that father would not kill Tsunade after all. She had done a lot for him. Tsunade knew that, but things would change. Things would work out. She heard about Danzo's demise, and his eye was gone. She figured that Uncle was the one that took it, to make sure that Naruto never find out what happened, and that would be best for everyone, because if he did, things were going to be bad, really, incredibly bad. Karen knew that her father knew that she was here, with Yumi, but he hadn't come yet. Perhaps he thought this was safe for them for now. Perhaps something bad was going to happen. But she had faith in her father. She never doubted him, and she wasn't going to start about now. At Konoha's uncle woke up, as she was angry. Yes, when she heard what happened, as she lost a child, if Naruto had just. But it was her fault as well. It was her fault to blame from the beginning, as she wanted him to leave. He did not hesitate as he left. She knew that everything had changed, and what was the point anymore? She just lied there in bed. But she couldn't stay here. She needed to get some fresh air. As Naruto made his way, he was attacked by Tsume. As Naruto was rather pissed off. In her drunken state, she did things thinking that she was helping Kiba, but she was not. As Naruto slapped her several times across the face after restraining her. As he told her to never show her pathetic self like this again in front of him or Kiba, and fix her act, or it will be too late. As she was released, the Yazakas were a strange clan. Knowing someone had dominance made the person seem much more desirable, as for some reason now she seemed to like the boy. The day then finally came as everyone made their way. But it wasn't just outside of Konoha. Even the hidden stone was gonna attack. As Kurosaki was leading the charge, there were so many enemies out there, including Akatsuki. Their goal, unknown. Yujito had left Kumo, and she was now fully a member of the Akatsuki. They wanted a goal, but it was unknown to the world yet. As Gaara, as Itachi was there as well, along with Kisame. Mainjutsu and Kojiro, they were there as well. Itachi had his eyes bandaged, saying that something happened and his eyes were going to evolve. Yes, he seemed to have gotten another pair of Sharingan. and that would make him get something rather dangerous. The Eternal. It seems that way. His eyes were bandaged. But the same person that helped Naruto was the same person that was helping Itachi. No one knew Itachi's real motives, seeing that he was no longer a criminal of Konoha, and they blamed Kira for the Uchiha destruction, as Sasuke was surprised to hear that, but he wanted to find Naruto and talk to him. But it was already too late as the finals came to a start. As Neji faced off against Katsumi, Neji was going out of his way to disrespect the Hyuga clan by using every different move and nothing that had to do with the Hyugas. It was then that he revealed it, as he didn't have the seal anymore, as he removed the fake seal that was on him, shocking the Hyugas. It is then that a group of the branch members came. They weren't supposed to be here, they should be back, protecting the clan compound. But they said that they've quit in the clan, and they joined another. And that was when their leader arrived. Naruto Senju, as the Hyugas had joined the Senju clan. A member from the main branch tried to attack one of the others, as Naruto brutally murdered the man right there and then. As a part of his clan, he could defend them and protect them against any threat that might be nearby. As he told them to try it, perhaps he will release the Kyuubi and let it suck their souls. The people were scared because they had no idea what the Kyuubi could do. What if it could really take their souls? As Minato saw that things were getting out of hand, he had to stop this. So yeah guys, that was basically the last part we left off. You guys can switch across the blade, check it out for yourself so it begins the new episode. We should probably suspend the exam and talk this over. One of the Hyuga members said, no, said Minato. If he's within the law, then no matter how bloody or stupid it is, there's nothing he can do about it afterwards, after the exams. We will decide on certain consequences, limiting the Hokage's powers, said Minato. For right now, you two, he pointed at two Chunins nearby. Remove the body and clean up the mess. The exam shall go on, and to avoid any repercussions, no Hyugas, now Senjus, cannot leave the Hyuga for the time being. With that, Minato moved back towards the Kage's booth, as the Hyugas that were now part of the Senju got back towards the Senju seats, far away from the other Hyugas. That was a rather cool display, Naruto Kanhirsen said. As Naruto got down from the rail and smiled at the coming of shinobis, have mercy for those who are merciful, but have no hesitation for those who are wicked. Strike down your enemy, Naruto said. A pity I can't stay. Things to do, people to see, laundry to wash. As he moved to leave, Hiruzen gave him a perplexed look. As he shook his head, the boy was joking. Really, he must be joking. As Neji sat down next to Kiba. Close your mouth, please, he said. That's not fair, Kiba said as he realized he was sitting in the Senju seat as well. He wanted in. I want in too, he said. Neji reached into his jacket as he pulled out a piece of paper. It was the adoption paper. We had a couple extra, he said. As Kiba looked towards the paper before the roar of Tasumi could be heard. Don't you dare think about it, she said. I need to talk to you later, boy. At that, he winced as he sighed. Hopefully, she would renounce him from the clan later so he can be a part of the Senju. Meanwhile, Katsumi had walked back towards the bench. She had left the pass. As Sasuke was angry, the Hyuga promised that he would become a Chunin with me. Sasuke-san, said Shino, forfeiting the match after showing such display of skills. There is still a high possibility of him becoming Chunin. Yeah, but I want to do that as well. But now I have to go to the entire damn tournament, Sasuke said. And if I do the same stuff, it would be like copying him. Since when do you care about copying or not? Said Shikamaru. He too wanted to surrender in his match. Nothing, he was cut off by Shino though. Well, he seemed interested in his teammate, Sakura-san, and she hates people who copy others. That's not true, said Sasuke. Oh really? I guess I have to tell Sakura, said Katsumi with a giggle. As the proctor spoke once more. Temari of the Sand versus Shikamaru. Come down to the arena. Meanwhile, that was going on. Sir Toby excused himself as his wards in his home were going off. Powerful seals set up to protect the home could do nothing when the chakra was forcefully removed from the seal. Barriers crumbled to find dust as Sami had to eat through the chakra. As Kisame reached into the depths of the clan, at his side was Kojuro and Ninjutsu. Remember, we have to look for possible Jinjuki candidates. They should be either as old as a Senju or young as a newborn. So 19, going down to Kisame. Ninjutsu nodded as he turned to a puddle of water, looking for cracks in the wooden floor, looking for any secret tunnels, any secret rooms. As Kisame took the right, Kojuro took the left. But there was no one in the compound, everyone was at the exams, thus why the compound was deserted. Still, someone should be around to guard it from possible thieves. Or were they expecting no one to get by those seals Kisame heard a gurgle as Kotaro was thrown through a couple of walls, breaking through them. Let me guess, Trap, said Kisame. Guess again. The calm voice of the third was enough to make Kisame tense. Please tell me that is a program, Mud Clone, said Kisame, as he brought down Samihata, that grated right through the third, and he turned to mud. Thank Kami, said Kisame, Kotaro, but before he could finish that sentence, something slammed into his side and threw him. The thing was fast, as he broke through a couple of walls. Youngsters these days, said Sarutobi as he lit his pipe. But a massive gulf of water was sent straight towards Sarutobi, engulfing the compound. To his defense, Kisame overreacted to save his skin after all. He knew exactly who he was fighting. And the water dome was larger than expected, and Deidara saw it from where he was, as Deidara thought it was time as he pointed forward. After all, if Kisame had to use one of his flashes and inks, the man needed help, as his birds moved forward as they started to drop explosives. As the sand ninjas tensed, thinking that it was a signal, ready to summon the giant snakes to help them. As they did that though, the scouts on the hidden stone saw the bombings and reported them back, thinking that the people that they had to sabotage the village were ready. So they decided to charge. From the very ground of Konoha, shinobis emerged, passing under the ground. Sand shinobis came crashing through the walls. All the while the Akatsuki member Yujito started to sweep the village, looking for the Kyuubi and Juliki. Kisame watched as a giant dragon made from the earth rose and split the water in half. As Hiruzen stand on top of it, Kisame didn't waste any time as he merged with Samihata. As he couldn't waste time here right now, things were starting hasty, and he had an objective. But a barrage of shurikens came down. It was an onslaught. He released 10 water dragons to protect from the barrage. The earth dragon that Hiruzen stood on opened its mouth. Bullet of earth and mud burst right through the water and slammed into Kisame. He had really picked the wrong straw. Water was incredibly weak against earth techniques, and Hiruzen was a master of earth techniques, and fire, and thunder, and everything. The man was called the professor. I must end this quickly, Hiruzen said, with a sort of condolence tone, like he was saddened by killing the blue-skinned man. As he brought his hand up, but a barrage of shurikens came towards him. Not just normal shurikens though. Shotan? Hiruzen says he jumped. As the dragon was struck, as someone flashed through hand signs, the dragon turned into crystal. The dragon, now made of crystal with green eyes, roared as it came diving down towards the falling Hiruzen. Hiruzen ran through hand signs, a wall of earth came up and slammed right into the neck of the dragon. As he flipped and landed on the ground. Goren, what are you doing here? Kisame yelled as he looked up at the woman. Saving your pathetic ass. We're pulling out, she said. Gaara is holding the Senju, while Orochimaru and Itachi are taking care of the fort. Hiruzen gasped at that. Itachi? No. He was supposed to be coming back to free Konoha to help them, so he would be free of all of his charges. Why was he entering the fight on their side? As the third Hokage went over their thoughts elsewhere, a couple of minutes before, as Temari and Shikamaru were called, Naruto was on a building over to the left, staring at the boy with red hair that looked at him. Next to him was Goren. Gaara, we have a problem, said Goren. As Goren nodded as he dispersed his sand eye. Nothing flashy or weak will attract attention, she said. As Naruto raised the eyebrow at that. Before I attack, said Naruto, I have a question. Did you take Tobirama from Danzo? Why should I answer that, said Goren as she raised her hand as crystals appeared around her as she threw them towards Naruto, who waved his hand as a burst of wind blew them away. Depending on the answer, I will not kill you, said Naruto. I don't frankly care what you do, as long as you keep away from Konoha, my family, and people I care about. So tell me, did you kidnap my son? We did not, said Gaara. We tried to, but Orochimaru never got to him in time. Gaara, Goren said. Gaara looked back at her. He said he wouldn't kill us. As Naruto nodded, as long as, and then hell broke loose. As a chain of events that Kisame let off started to make everything impact at once. As Naruto turned as he saw the massive birds flew over his head, a large number of white birds that started raining hell down, explosions everywhere. As whips of blue chakra emerged from his body. Goren, go warn Kisame we're leaving, Gaara said. I'll delay him for as long as I can. Gaara gave her a sharp look. cutting her off. As she ran off, Gara brought a wall of sand that blocked the claw. The blue claw that was going to strike through her back. But as he did that, his sand fell to the ground. No longer moving, it was like it was lifeless. The roof that Naruto stood on started to crack. As he muttered, yin and yang chakra composed the world he said as blue flames started to spew from his entire body. It coats people, things, objects, everything. As Gara's sand shot forward in the hand to grab Naruto, only for the blue flames to turn it into glass. And it shattered. It is the base of all jutsus, mastery of life. And the mastery of chakra is the finest form. As Naruto moved, Gara was shocked. He was gone. As the sand that he sent out turned into glass and broke. He told Guren that he would delay him. But how could he delay something like that? Gara cursed that he couldn't see him anymore. He had to warn Deidara that they were going to pull out. As he started to fly towards the sky, he saw a barrage of rock lances shooting upwards. The lances stabbed right through the birds as they exploded on contact. Deidara pushed the rest of his clay birds down towards the side of Konoha, only for a wall of sand to block them. Gara, what are you doing? Why did you block me? That was a hospital era right there, said Gara, as he turned towards the hidden stone that was charging towards Konoha with your full force. Bad thing then. Well, good thing you stopped me. Still the hidden stone. Maybe Oniki is also here, said Deidara. We have to retreat, Gara said. The plan is off. Guren went for Kisame. And what about Orochimaru? As he pointed towards the distance where the purple barrier was. Busy. Itachi went that way as well. He should have been keeping the Senju busy, said Deidara. He's fast. He's heading towards Kisame. We must attack from a distance. He can disable chakra that is near to him. Well, said Deidara, before we pull out, as he looked toward his creations, the one that remained. There's the sand side. They're in the less populated area of Konoha. As Gara nodded, good. Then you take the hidden stone side. Tell them, Deidara sent you. I'll take the sand side. After all, for the plan to be a success, they need to be defeated. Gara nodded his hand, raised up. As Deidara released the birds, they started to drop towards the sand ninjas and the giant snakes. As Gara moved towards where the stone ninjas were coming. Meanwhile, with Kushina. Kushina woke up with a slight yawn as she got off her bed. As she looked towards the clock, not seeing her husband. Oh crap! As it was 10, she quickly got ready as fast as possible. As she arrived, she saw a letter in the fridge. To my beautiful Haim. As she rolled her eyes, but still she smiled. At the romance of Minato. But she wondered why didn't he wake her up. She was supposed to be there to watch Katsume fight. As she opened the letter as she moved. Well, where do I start? I love you. And I love Katsume-chan. I can't go on like this while the guilt of what I did consumes me. I know, it's melodramatic. I know it's extremely selfish on my part, but at the same time, it must be done. I placed enough sedatives in your meal last night to keep you asleep. Till all of it is over. This is a secret I hope you won't tell anyone. But I had previously asked Danzo to use some assassins to kill me in the tournament. And later on have him and Hiruzen convince council to put Naruto in charge. Yeah, our little boy will be the next Hokage. I rule more than enough. And the paperwork will stop finally haunting my dreams. When I say kill me, referring to the assassins, I obviously mean fake killing me. So, there won't be any problem later on. But with Danzo's death, I'm sure Hiruzen will take care of it. Just be mindful of the letters coming from the land of Moon, from a certain Arashi. If, considering your Uzumaki vitality, and if you wake up before I'm done, please don't intervene. Please. Thank you. Love. Minato Namikaze. She tore the paper to shreds. Idiot, idiot, idiot. You think you're just gonna leave like that? With your damn suicide wish, I'm gonna... She felt the chakra around the Namikaze mansion as she jumped through the window as the place exploded. Hidden stone. Explosion core. Report. A man with brown, spiky hair said, Sir, the Hokage compound has been raised to the ground. Good. Let us... Before the man could finish that sentence, a chain ripped right through his back and pierced through the others, tearing them like they were nothing but shreds of paper, leaving one. As Kushina stepped forward, as a chain wrapped around him and pulled him towards her. What is the hidden stone doing here? How did you reach her so quickly? You would like to know that, huh? Hokage's bitch, the man said. The chains crushed him into nothingness. Now I have to find someone else to ask, but first, Minato, she said. As she started to move, once again she had to move as an explosive went off. As she twisted around her bleeding hand. As she looked up to see a man there wearing the standard uniform except his right sleeve was torn off. As he looked down towards her, "Let me pass," she said. "I am Gory, head of the Explosion Corps. I will stop you here for the Hidden Stone." "Death to Konoha," he said. As the man punched the ground, Kushina watched as the ground erupted in a massive, violent explosion. Her chains came forward, but the man burst through the smoke and smashed his fist against it, turning it into chakra as Kushina was blown backwards. "Konoha has grown soft. The Hidden Stone has taken time to prepare," the man said, as he roared again and charged forward. As he removed a string from his pocket, strange marbles were tied around as he swung it around. Kushina's chains increased in a large quantity as he shot them forward. The man punched them with the explosion, blowing them to pieces as he threw the cord forward the marble on them. The man smirked. "Do you know what was in those marbles?" he asked. The marbles burst as Kushina looked up. Sizzling acid started raining down from the sky. Her chains quickly came up to form a barrier to save her, but Gari rushed in to punch her right in the stomach. Smashing his fist in her stomach, blood came from her mouth as she dropped towards the ground. As she coughed up blood. The man said, surprised. "I thought I would destroy you to ashes." "Well, it doesn't matter. You will bleed to death soon enough." As Kushina lay there in a seep of her own blood, as she cried tears of frustration. Why was this happening now? Why was it happening now? As her mind ran unaccustomed. At least, she still had Naruto, right? Darkness swallowed her as someone landed and a pair of green hands placed on the wounds to heal them. Meanwhile, with Uncle, there wasn't a problem towards leaving the village, seeing that the village was wide open for Chunin exams as she left. She was going towards the wave when something hit her, that something was wrong. "I'm leaving everything behind," she said, as she clenched the strap of her backpack. "But what is there in Konoha's tale?" she said. She slapped her face. "Come on, Uncle Minato. We got place to be. Bars to get drunk in. Things to do," she said. "Maybe find a clue on the route base. Look for Tobirama around, things like that. I got extra money after all. Let's spend it, yeah. Yeah, the filthy money that she had put apart. She never wanted to use it for herself. Well, until now. She was already a horrible person, so what was the problem? There wasn't. Well, except for in her haste of leaving Konoha, she had forgotten to withdraw the amount from the bank. No, damn it, she said. No, I have to turn around, damn it. As she made her way. When she got closer, she saw smoke coming from exactly where Konoha was. Her eyes widened as she increased her pace. She had barely left. She was no more than a day away because she was running at a ninja pace. Surely, Naruto hadn't gone on a rampage. Surely, this wasn't her fault, right? Her ears twitched as she rolled as a barrage of kunai impaled the area where she once stood. As a group of sand shinobis were preventing any Konoha ninja from coming back. She quickly slipped into her taijutsu stance, not wasting time. She narrowed her eyes for tunings. She was a jonin Takabitsu, but she would manage. As a kunai dropped in her palm, as she shot forward towards the first one. As a kunai met kunai, another one tried to sneak up behind her, but she twists and launched her hand as snakes burst from her sleeve, catching the man off guard as they skewer him with blades coming from their mouth. As she twists and dodged under another brutal swipe that would have sliced her throat right open. As she released the grip on the kunai she was holding onto, the man came plummeting forward, but she twisted her body and struck right under his chin, piercing right through it. The two remaining ones jumped down as Uncle smirked as she jumped back, activating the explosive tags that she had dropped on the bodies of two fallen ones, as they were obliterated in the explosion. As she started to rush back towards the village, the sand was supposed to be allied with Konoha. A burning sensation ran through her neck. Her ex-husband. He was angry. Very, very angry. Nothing good would come out of that, clearly. Back at the arena, earlier, Minato expected a route operative to make the attempt on his life. Possibly something flashy. That, or someone hired by Hiruzen since Danzo was dead, and Root would no longer be in mission. But instead, he had to quickly move away, jump towards a rooftop, where he was trapped in a barrier. A purple barrier. Worse, the Kazekage was in front of him. Konoha was being invaded on 3 fronts. and Itachi appeared in a murder of crows right in front of him. None of them, even Orochimaru and Itachi, expected the hidden stone, it seems. Itachi, what are you doing here? Said Minato. Never mind. You know that you've been forgiven of your... Itachi cut him off. My crimes? My only regret was that I believed in the wrong Hokage, Itachi said. As Itachi's eyes spin into the Sharingan, but Minato wasn't looking at his eyes. The way he spoke, Minato could tell that he was not here as an ally, but as an enemy. Itachi, you should be holding off the Senju, said the Kazekage. Itachi spoke. Orochimaru sensei, you two haven't been loyal to the plan. The hidden stone was supposed to be a part of it. Tell me, what did they offer? Orochimaru, said Minato in shock. As Orochimaru tore off the face and showed what was really underneath. The hidden stone was not part of my plan. I suspected it was yours, said Orochimaru as he looked at Itachi. So it seems you won't plead guilty. Well then, as Itachi's hand went towards his ninjato, it seems like he was gonna kill the two of them. I am not gonna just stand by and let Konoha burn, Itachi Orochimaru. I'll have to kill you both, said Minato, as he pulled out his three-pronged kunai. Itachi threw a massive fireball. Orochimaru increased it by throwing a wind element towards it, but what he saw was a hail of kunai. Orochimaru received a deadly right hook that threw him back. Chidori, the Uchiha Prodigy said as lightning encased his hand as he moved forward. Snakes exploded from Orochimaru's sleeve as Itachi quickly twists as Minato formed a Rasengan and drives as he slaughtered the snakes. He then came in close as Itachi came in closer and twisted his body, slamming his Chidori in Orochimaru's chest. Orochimaru opened his mouth as another Orochimaru slipped out rather quickly, his lower half a snake as he rushed towards the corner of the barrier. Now Itachi was near to Minato as he twists and brought his ninjato forward, but Minato blocked it with a kunai. I trusted the Hokage to do the right thing, but instead you gave way to slaughter and bloodshed, Itachi said. I did what I had to do to guarantee peace in the village. Danzo was too strong to tackle, said Minato. Darkness is only as strong as light permitted. As the both of them had to move as a massive wave of snakes tried to swallow them whole, Orochimaru flashed through hand signs. I never considered you in the middle of this, Itachi, to betray us. But it doesn't matter. Edo Tensei, he says, he slammed his hand down on the ground. 3 coffins came from the ground as Itachi jumped back. As both him and Minato looked towards the coffins. What is that? Said Minato as he reached out one of his kunais. Itachi's eyes changed. Amaterasu, he said. The coffin, the first one, was engulfed in black flames that swallowed it up whole until it turned into dust and the contents inside. Itachi's eyes turned to the other two, but it was too late. As 2 persons came out, one of them were a person with blue armor, cracks over it, and him as well, red eye, and paint on his face, or paint. It was none other than Tobirama Senju. Itachi looked towards the man. He heard the murmurs of Naruto being similar to the second, but he never thought it would be that close. No seeing the man right here. The other one made... Minato's eyes went wide as he saw. Sensei? It was none other than Jiraiya of the Sannin. Touching reunion, isn't it? Orochimaru said, with a hiss, as he pushed 2 kunais in the back of their head. As their face seemed to brighten up, their eyes showing life. It was then that he spoke, Tobirama. Oh, interesting, they added. Faces to the mountain. As the man turned, he looked towards Minato and looked towards the attire. So that will make you the 4th Hokage. Orochimaru looked puzzled. The seal was supposed to take away their personality, but yet he was talking so casually. Yes, Minato is the 4th Hokage, but why am I here? I mean, after seeing the Kyuubi, I was supposed to be dead. What's going on? The Kyuubi? Wasn't it inside of Mito? Did she die? Well, obviously. She died, or the Uzumaki longevity will be considered immortality. But who took her place? And who's the genius that used the Shikifun? Let me guess, no time. You couldn't ask. Orochimaru looked, and so did Jiraiya, but Jiraiya spoke. They always depict you as a quiet one. Yes, because I asked them to. Lies and deceit make the world go around. Well, as much as I enjoyed talking, Orochimaru said, we have business to get down to. Kill those 2. Jiraiya frowned as he couldn't understand, as his hand started to move. Minato dodged! Rasengan, he said, as Minato flashed away as he then flashed towards his kunai that was near to Orochimaru. But black flames interrupted him as he had to flash back towards his other kunai. Itachi, Whose side are you on? I think it is clear I'm on neither of your sides, said Itachi as he rushed towards Tobirama. Tobirama looked at Minato as he looked towards the ground. He smiled as he flashed behind Minato. Somehow the man was able to hijack the Harishim technique. How the hell he did that without any seals or hand sign with just a simple smile was a mystery. As he saw the look on Minato's face. Space and time manipulation, please. I was hailed as a master of the art. I can do this with my eyes closed. Minato had to duck as the man swung at him. If only I had my Raijin. The things I could do with the man said talking, as he attacked Minato ferociously. Shouldn't you be fighting this jutsu effect instead of toying around, said Jiraiya. As the second shook his head as he flashed back. There's no need to dodge, second. Or there's no need to fight it, Jiraiya. This is Edo Tensei. Not even killing me will stop it. You have to force me to release it. And until then, you will have unlimited chakra and unyielding regeneration, Orochimaru said, the mad cackle. It was then that Tobirama laughed. Yes, or being the creator of the jutsu, knowing the hand sign and simply releasing it on oneself. And just like that, the man went through hand sign so quickly and the kunai popped out, shocking Orochimaru. Tobirama spewed a thick jet of water out of his mouth, forcing them all to jump back as he landed right behind Jiraiya as he slammed his hand in Jiraiya's stomach as his other hand reached around and pulled the kunai from the man's neck. I'm sorry, I didn't get to meet you properly, whoever you are, but if you thought the Hokage is best, that you leave this fight early. Jiraiya's head slumped down. Tell Naruto that I'm sorry. But that's impossible. The seal should. Orochimaru was stopped when Itachi laughed. Yes. Everyone looked towards him. Well, everyone that knew him, that included Minato and Orochimaru. Seeing Itachi laugh like that, it was strange. But the thing that caught their attention was the blood leaking down his eye. His right eye had closed, but his left eye was showing a shuriken, a strange shuriken, and it was open. The Kodomasukami, your plan was probably to remove their emotion, but when you spoke about using this technique in battle, Sensei, I know. I had to plan ahead. Thankfully, Naruto-kun had access to Tobirama's Senju laboratory. Tobirama blinked. Naruto was the same name that the white hair guy had said. Probably, they were the same person. He had to investigate on this quickly because staying in his body was outright creepy. He found out. How did he get in there? The Raijin, the armor, and blood is required. I think I at least put that one had to be a Senju in the guest entrance. So he had to at least have Senju blood in him, descendant of mine. I swear, if Koharu got in my pants after I died, I'm gonna incinerate my tomb. That woman was mad. Mad, I tell you, he said, as Orochimaru's eyes were burning with fury. So what? You gave him back his will, Orochimaru asked. He looked towards Itachi. No, I instructed him to go through the hand signs and gave him back his memory of what has happened till now. As Jiraiya's body was turned to dust, his soul was being released. Well, I was better off sleeping, but now I know I have to burn my body. Still, who taught you the Edo Sensei, pale guy? You used the wrong sealing kunai. Whoever taught you that, they were wrong. As Orochimaru frowned slightly. He never got wrong sources before. Wouldn't you want to know, he said. There is notes on your work on Edo Tensei in the restricted section of the library, said Minato. Oh, so this charade is because you couldn't do as I said in my notes and burn all of that. Tobirama sighed in annoyance. Why couldn't they have just listened and burned all the notes? Everything would have been so much better off. So, you're the bad guy, he said, looking at Orochimaru. And you're the Hokage. So who is Uchiha fighting for? He did not mention that in the memories. Itachi, said Minato. I'm fighting for the 5th Hokage, Itachi said, as his second eye closed with blood oozing down his face. And for him, I would gladly take the blindness again. Well then, let's end this, said Tobirama as he slammed his hand together. Water started to form around the barrier. Electricity started to burst and cackle inside, dangerously, towards a high degree. I never complete this technique, because it was too much chakra required. But now, he said, Master of Death is Edo Tensei, you know that. He looked straight towards Orochimaru. Do you know what Master of Life is? Immortality, Orochimaru said as he regurgitated his Kusanagi blade and held it still. Minato, we have to stop him. How quickly alliances could change. As Itachi spoke towards Minato, as he stood right there, his eyes closed, in wait. As Minato turned his head towards Orochimaru, ready to move. But that is when he realized he shouldn't have trusted Itachi words at all. Too late, said Itachi, as he whispered right beside his ear. It was then that Toburama's technique went off. Electricity that came down like a storm. The water blasting out furiously as the giant barrier fizzled and dispersed. Toburama slumped on the ground, his body turned into ashes. Orochimaru Kusanagi returned back to his normal form. Orochimaru was on the ground screaming in pain and agony as he held on to his head. Something was wrong. Master of life. His control over chakra itself, Itachi said, finishing what Toburama did not. As Minato looked down, Itachi had pierced him, breaking as much blood vessel as possible. He couldn't escape the attack. No substitution, no Hiroshin, is jutsu. They did not work. So, this was it. As blood came from his mouth, he fell. Died. Minato Namikaze. Revenge for the innocent. I'm sorry, said Minato in a whisper. He was sorry. He was sorry how things went on in the past. He was sorry. He was sorry for everything that he done, how selfish he had been. How foolish he had been. He just hoped, in his final breaths, that Naruto would be able to pick up after he left off. Behind him, Orochimaru's true form emerged as he burst out of his body. He was made up of small white snakes into a giant one with a peculiar head. Orochimaru was still screaming in pain. Something happened with that technique as he flashed around. He needed to get out of here. Where was the sound for? He needed them immediately as he looked around. Back to the arena, earlier, with the others. As Shikamaru and Temari made their way into the center of the arena, when the proctor called them. Meanwhile, Katsumi was standing there. As Katsumi felt sleepy, as her eyes closed, the last thing she saw was Sasuke's Sharingan twirling in his eyes. Minutes later, Katsumi jolted up, looking around as she was confused as she heard screams and explosion. Sasuke was in front of her yelling something, but she hadn't been listening, as he was the one that broke her out of the genjutsu. As she saw her father on a nearby roof, speaking to the Kazekage as they were trapped in a barrier with someone else that she could not recognize from here. Katsumi! As a slap jolted her, as she quickly jumped and turned towards Sasuke. We have to help! As Katsumi looked towards him, as Shino appeared beside them. It's impractical, we're Jennings, he said. Shino had worked quickly and ruthlessly. The moment the explosion went off and the Sand Shinobi started to attack, he sucked all the chakra out of Conqueror with his bugs. As the boy was no longer a problem. As they looked down towards the arena where Shikamaru was, as he was able to capture Temari with his shadow style jutsu. Here to explain, Shikamaru said, as he was unfazed by the genjutsu. There's nothing to explain. The sand will boom, more explosions went off. As Temari turned because Shikamaru did, when they saw hordes of stone ninjas bursting towards the village, causing mass havoc and chaos. Shit, he said as he released her and jumped back. There were far more important things to do than hold on to her right here. Shika! As Shikamaru turned to see Choji running towards him, an explosion went off as a giant piece of shrapnel slammed right into Choji, something that was probably not meant for him. More explosions went off, showing the might of the hidden stone as the ground ripped apart, buildings collapsed. All of their bombs were equipped with shrapnels to wound, to maim, to cause mass destruction amongst the populace. Shikamaru saw that they had to retreat and get out of here, but everything went through the window when he saw his best friend lying in a pool of his own blood. Choji! As Shikamaru turned as he watched Asuma mercilessly cut down ninjas after ninjas. As Asuma grabbed him by the back of the collar, seeing that Shikamaru was shell-shocked, unable to do anything. Sasuke was watching with shock as his Sharingan was able to see everything down to the finer detail, something that he wished did not happen. As Katsumi saw Kunai coming towards Sasuke, he wasn't focused and she jumped in the path. The kunai slammed right into her stomach. As her eyes became red with slits in them, she shrugged it off like nothing as her teeth became fangs as she pounced upon the first shinobi that attacked. She tore him to shreds. Chaos ensued as she started to rip and maim. Asuma landed back down with Choji. As the man clenched his fist, he's dead. As he closed Choji's eyes. No, said Shikamaru. He wouldn't believe that it was Choji. No. Choji was kind, he was gentle, he was good. And he was a genin for Kami's sake. He was a genin, not a chonin, not a jonin, a high rank ninja. He was a genin, and he was his friend. Shikamaru, listen to me. He's dead, and I'm sorry. We can't afford to grieve in this moment. There is still things to be done, he said. Shinobugs came up and blocked another wild explosion. Asuma-sensei, we're attracting fire, Shino said. We have to go, said Asuma. I'm not leaving him here, said Shikamaru as he moved closer to Choji. Shika, leave him. He was hit in the heart with a shrapnel. It was quick. You have to leave him. Asuma was suffering as well, but things were bad. The Hidden Stone somehow got involved. Not to mention, the Hokage was fighting with the Kazekage. He didn't know what the hell was going on. I will take care of this, the older voice of Kabuto said, as Asuma breathed a sigh of relief, as Kabuto was with his teammate Misume. Misume was carrying Kankuro on his shoulder, knocked out and bound, probably to bring him towards Ibiki. As for the boy's elder sister, she probably headed off if they capture her too. Then the Kazekage dynasty would end with them. Right, Yakushi-san, take them to the refugee. Asuma paused, he turned. Sasuke was gone, and also Katsumi, as Sasuke was trailing after her as she was leaving a trail-up body in her wake. Do not worry, Sarutobi-san, I'll handle everything. As he sealed away Choji in a scroll, as he handed over to Shikamaru as he whispered, I'm sorry for your loss, but now we have to move. As Shikamaru took the scroll, and he moved. Meanwhile, the main family of Hyugas found themselves missing the branch family that was there, and Hayashi. They were gone in the midst of the chaos, as they wanted to get their revenge and slaughter all of them. After deserting the clan that they did not deserve to live, they decided to prove their worth to Konoha though, as those who could fight engaged in the battle. As that went on, Neji grabbed Sakura who was still wounded and asked Kiba to do the same with Ino. We have to get to the Senju compound, said Neji. There's a safe house in there. Kiba! The yell of Tatsumi could be heard, but he did not stop running as an explosion dropped from the heavens on the white bird, and he was blown as he smashed into a wall, dropping Ino as he did. As his breathing was ragged, as he coughed up blood, his vision swam. As he looked around, thinking that he was gonna die, he heard the coughing of Ino close to him. Hey, Mutt boy, I think I have something in my back. It hurts, she said. Sorry, I should have held you tighter. As a clay bird dropped from the heavens towards him. As he held on to Ino's arm. As he looked at her. Well, it was a good way to die, right? With a pretty girl at your side. Lightning blade! That was the last thing he heard before his vision went black. As Kakashi skewered the blade as Tatsumi landed. As it did not explode. Chakra. Let's not waste time, Hatake, said Tatsumi as she grabbed Kiba, as Koromaru picked up Akamaru in his mouth. As Kakashi grabbed Ino. Yeah, Nechi yelled something about the Senju safe house. Let's go there. As he noticed that the Hyugas were gone, he hoped to come in whatever Naruto cooked up was good for everyone. But that was not the big problem here. The bird did not explode, but it was something else before he had touched it. The rain itself. Something was up with the rain. Meanwhile, as the sand and the stone was together, they did not know what to do. It was a group of each of them. Because the both of them are destroying Konoha, perhaps they are going after the same objective. Yes, they want Konoha to fall. So attacking each other wouldn't be the good thing to do, but helping each other though. But they all felt it as something was coming towards them fast. It was a beast, 4 tails behind him as he moved from building to building, moving at speed. Unbeknownst to them, he was fast, crashing and jumping as fast as he could. As the army saw him coming the next second, arms burst on the earth, skeleton arms. The people screamed in fear, utter fear, as their body was ripped limb from limb, shredded, as Naruto passed through the bunch of skeletons that remained on the ground. Yet it wasn't enough to fill his hunger. His eyes were dead set on a source of chakra in front of him. He had to consume it. He had to. 4 tails turned into 3, 3 turned to 2, and 2 turned to 1, and he returned back to normal. Have you calmed down? Yes, but I have to hurry, he said, speaking to the Kyuubi. You end up on 4 tails. You're in no condition to go further. I'm not gonna leave them there alone and scared, said Naruto. I am not for it too, but there's no choice. If you go in there alone, you're gonna die. Well, it's not like Naruto was tackled on the ground, as he rolled over to see Katsumi on top of him. Big brother, she said. Dad, he's fighting. There's nothing She looked towards her hands that was covered in blood and gut as she fell over and started to cough as she puked. Naruto! As Sasuke finally arrived, what's going on? The stone and the sand are attacking, they're invading Konoha. Yes, said Naruto. And there are members of the Akashiron. Listen, you two have to go and evacuate and help the hospital and the academy, said Naruto. Understood? The two of them look hesitant. Listen to me, said Naruto, gain their attention. This is a war. This is your village that you have to fight to protect. Sasuke, you head to the academy. When you get evacuated, aim for the hospital. Understood? Yes, sir. Now go. Sasuke did not hesitate as he dashed off. As Naruto turned towards Katsumi. Did you use that? Said Naruto. Yes, she said. How? Choji died, she said. He was watching the fight with his family and when it happened, he went towards Shikamaru and an explosion and he fell. As Naruto placed a hand on her head, as she calmed down as the red chakra left her, it seeped into him, calming her down. Listen, go to the refugees. Let the older shinobis take care of the fight, he said. If you find other genins, tell them the same thing. If you see chunins or jonins, tell them direct, point alpha. They will know what it means. Understood? And she nodded. Good, now go. And stay alive, he said. As he hugged her. You're my precious sister. Don't die in me, he said. As Naruto went off, leaving behind a red Katsumi, who no longer felt afraid. As Naruto finally made his way, as he arrived at the Sarutobi compound. Let us leave, you old bastard! As another crystal wall was destroyed by a hell rain of fire that forced Kisame and Gorin back. Naruto-kun, said Sarutobi. I require some help, he said. Karin and Yumi, are they safe? Hiruzen eyes widened. You know? He nodded. Yes, they are. They were moved down with Tsunade, and so you were the one that Tsunade took orders from, said Naruto. But that can wait, he said. So the enemies pay you to attack us, said Naruto. No! That is what we're trying to say to this old goat, said Gorin. Now let us go! He's on your side, correct, said Naruto as he pointed up to the heavens, where Deidara was bombing the hell out of the village. Listen, we didn't plan a war. We just came for the other half of the Kyuubi Jinchuriki. Well, you chose the wrong path in doing so, said Hiruzen. It was then that all the crystals vanished. As Hiruzen released a fire jutsu, the fire jutsu vanished as well. The sharks that Kisame was trying to use all vanished as well. As Naruto chucked as the rain got more intensified, he ran a hand through his hair as he pulled out the Raijin that cackled with glee. The lightning seemed to just trembling off of it. Well done, Itachi, well done. As the Raijin was humming beside him, nicely. Chakra is gone, said Naruto. And with that he moved. The next thing Gorin knew, blood seeped from her mouth. As it wasn't astonishing that made him move so fast. It wasn't in jutsu. No, it was because Naruto had the body to do so. Body, mind and technique, he whispered. As he used the Raijin to tear Gorin apart. Do you understand now, said Naruto as he looked towards Kisame, who was rather silent as Kisame was holding on to Samihata. Hiruzen instead slumped on the ground, as he couldn't use any chakra. And he couldn't enhance his muscles. Without that, he was just a feeble old man. And as every old man, he could do nothing but watch. Everything started to pile up, the concussions, the damage from his side, the hits he took in the battle, and given the state that he was in right now, a feeble old man state. Hiruzen Sarutobi felt it coming, the wave that was going to take him under, as all the pain was too much as his heart gave away to the stress. As Naruto stood there looking, Hoshirama Senju, final technique, was the advent of a world of flowering trees, said Naruto. It was a master over the Mokiton, but it wasn't life itself. What is life? Is it chakra? Is it the muscle? Is it the bone? Is it the blood? Said Naruto. In the end, Tobirama came up with the answer to the problem. Chakra was at the base of everything. So to disrupt that chakra, you could control life. Obviously, Tobirama realized that sometimes you need some edge as a shinobi, and the Raijin was born, the sword created by a thunderbolt itself. Immune to the technique. As Kisame looked up at the rain, how could anyone disturb chakra in such a wide radius? This kid was something else. He gripped Samihata though. That still didn't take away from his brute strength. As Naruto moved, and so did Kisame. But guys, be in subscribe right here. If you want the next part, do like, subscribe, comment down below, turn on the bell notifications, stay posted. But I'm off for now. See you guys soon. Peace.